Welcome into I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. Back in the saddle, folks. Again, if you didn't miss or if you didn't watch our Penn State one we did about James Franklin getting fired, candidates, our thoughts on all that, we had some technical difficulties. And we've had it for the past couple weeks. Plus, I was on the road. And so it all turned into an insane thing of us missing a couple weeks of content. But we're back in the saddle. We're going to get you going here, Tyson, as the NFL has it changed or what since we last did a show? My God, because we got a panic meter. We're talking about the Eagles who looked like juggernauts and would never lose. The Bills looked like this might be the year. And the Ravens who were scoring 1 million points, but the defense is bad enough. But now all of a sudden things have completely changed.
Yeah, I don't know who's good. I feel like we say that every year, but this year, look, it's going to be nice, when like we've been asking for parity from the NFL, and so when we get an AFC Championship game that's just like a random franchise like the New England Patriots playing against another one like the Indianapolis Colts, just something we haven't seen. Dude, it's a flat circle. Like I don't know what to tell you, man.
It is crazy. Like what was it? They did a picture of Brady, Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and who was the other one? Oh, Phillip Rivers, and then on the other side, it was like the present day.
Oh, got you.
Holmes, Drake May, Rodgers, which is hilarious, and then Daniel Jones. It was just, or I guess it wasn't Mahomes, whatever. And it was just like, oh yeah, look at these guys. And it is, like you said, time is a flat circle. I was like, oh my God, man, this is ridiculous.
I'm pissed about it, but all the Drake May shares that we bought up when he was at North Carolina are paying dividends.
And I am mad at myself that I didn't pound the table a little bit harder for him. My eval, that I kind of succumbed a little bit, and I think I had him a little bit lower than I actually wanted him to. So I am pissed about that. But
here's the thing, dude.
We did like
we could have said that he was the third best quarterback in that draft class, and that could have been a pretty high compliment. These dudes are killing.
Yeah, that's true. It's really, really good draft class. He's been fun to watch. But Tyson, we'll do an assessment again. We're going to ease back into this thing. We'll have some more content and different content ideas, I think, coming out of this. But we're going to talk about the NFL panic meter, and we're going to highlight 3 teams that we just discussed. We're going to dive into our team, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, holy smokes, they were not losing. Yes, it looked ugly. Yes, it was like, what's going on here? We're not a fan of this offense. Defense is still playing pretty good. All of a sudden, the wheels have completely fallen off, where this offense looks horrible. The defense is bad. They've lost 2 in a row. They blew a game against the Broncos, and then they got flat out embarrassed by the Giants. And they sit at 4-2 with a -1 point differential, and everything's falling apart. So it seems, where are you at on the panic meter, 1 through 5 on that scale, as we jump in here and discuss the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mean, the Eagles fan in me is like 80% panicked, so 4. But I think rationally you could be at a 3. I think it's maybe a little disingenuous to say like a 1 because the team's 4-2 and because they won the Super Bowl a year ago and because they won 21 of 22 games or whatever it was. Like all that stuff is true. But like our eyes are telling us what we're watching on the field is not good. Like, yes, Jalen Carter misses a game at MetLife, and partly because of the heel injury, but then also the team, there's that report they don't really want to play on the turf, feeling like this. But then the defensive line looked bad, and Quinyon Mitchell goes out of the game. And the second, everyone else besides him and Cooper DeJean in the secondary is a liability in that game, and kind of at this point, and they just got out physicaled and out efforted for the first time in that long stretch. Like there's been games that they've lost, and like the Broncos game's a good example. But it was never like, oh, these dudes aren't trying, or these dudes are getting just out hustled right now. And that was the first time since 2023. I think that's the way that I felt. Look, the NFL is weird. Sometimes you pack it in at halftime of a Thursday night game because like it's not going your way. But Jalen Hurts had more missed throws on Thursday night than we've seen him make in a while. And I know the internet is clowning the guy right now, and this is like a performance that's justified. But look around the league, dude. Some of these guys that we're expecting big things of at the quarterback position have been underwhelming. It's kind of mostly visible with him because this offense is stalling so bad with the stars that they have. I'm at 60%. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles, they're still a game ahead in the division. They're still probably going to end up making the playoffs. But for a team where it was like, oh, they can play in the Super Bowl again, and that's expected at this point with this roster, it doesn't feel that way as we sit here on October 15th.
I'm a 3 with you. And I don't know if the fan in me is actually a little bit less concerned.
Tyson, I'm pissed.
I'm sitting here fat and happy that they won the Super Bowl. And maybe that's the wrong outlook, dude.
What
Like
happened to you, dude?
in our lifetime, dude, like we were like, are they ever going to win one? They've gotten 2 in our lives. Like,
Yeah,
can we
spoiled.
really be that greedy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's spoiled. I understand that, but
So
2023
wants to hear about
feels
Eagles
fresh,
fandom.
man.
That's true. So I'll take this from like another rational from a different standpoint. What I'm actually more nervous is if I'm taking off the Eagles hat, because I'm looking at some like, okay, is this looking like 2023 again? Again, if there's a report from Jeremy Fowler, you got a freaking player texting, it's feeling like 2023. Well, hey, dude, how about you step up and do something? Like, if you're not a schmuck, first of all, you probably don't have Jeremy Fowler's number if you are a schmuck.
That's a weird move,
but you definitely have influence in the locker room. How about you get your ass up and do something about it?
Do you think it's Braden Mann? You think it's Jake Elliott?
I was gonna say probably special teamer. He's like, hey, dude, it's like bad in here now. But the offense looks terrible. Kevin Petula looks like he's in over his head. Whatever weird things going on between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, I think there is some smoke, or there's some fire. There's some smoke there. Devontae Smith's not involved. This offensive line has regressed massively, and I think that's where a lot of this stems from. And Jalen Hurts hasn't stepped up and he hasn't performed well. And that's just a reality situation. And that's without even looking at a defense, like you said, that doesn't have pass rush, that doesn't have interior presence, that's whose cornerbacks and secondary is back to being bad. So there's just a lot that we're talking about
this offseason. Like, there's been years where the Philadelphia Eagles have found diamonds in the rough just on their own team, and guys have risen through the ranks. Hall of Famers have developed that way for the Philadelphia Eagles. This offseason was a huge – dude, they were wrong almost everywhere.
And I said my biggest concern was losing CJ and you kind of laughed at me.
You're so crazy.
You can't tell me that if CJ is not on the roster, that these guys don't get pushed around and look like baby shit compared to the Giants, dude. Like, they would not have performed that way.
I think that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson would have probably ended up getting mossed at some point in that game as well by little Jordan Humphrey. I think Isaiah Rodgers was a really tough one to lose at that cornerback 2 position. I think that plays more into a lot of the defensive woes, and then like not being able to afford to keep a guy like Milton Williams obviously sucks. A guy like Josh Sweat, but Jalix Hunt can't get to the passer. Nolan Smith's on injured reserve. Jordan Davis is playing a million snaps a game, and like we're all pumped for him, but that's not what he's supposed to be doing. Moro Ojomo, doesn't necessarily look like the guy who was promised. There are misses all over the board on that defensive side of the football. So I think that's mostly where my panic comes from. Is the offense going to figure it out? No idea.
I think the pathway to the defense figuring out is easier because you're going to get Nolan Smith back, and you're going to get Quinion Mitchell, and you have Vic Fangio and Tyson. I think they're going to trade for a guy from the Jets and a guy from the Dolphins, and this thing's going to be wheels up. Like, Bradley Chubb's probably going to be on there in 2 weeks, and then you're probably going to land an interior guy from the Jets, and this thing's going to look much different. We're going to be like, oh, okay, that's right. The Eagles have a good defense. The offense is like, yes, it should be better, and I think it will be better. Like, this running game, I think, is going to explode next week. And I think the offense is going to look much better because of it. But it's like Petullo, he just can't sequence plays here. Now we're getting a little nitty gritty, but we're going to take a little time because we're talking about 3 teams. And this is the reason why I'm not as concerned as other people when it comes to the Eagles. Once he figures out that you can call a run play, then call a pass play, and you don't have to stack it like, this is my running drive, this is my passing drive, I think things are going to look a lot better.
I think it's better for the offense when everyone, even those at home, it's first. They're running the football on 1st and 10. Oh, it's second and 8. They're gonna okay. I know what play's coming here. Also, Saquon Barkley, he hasn't been as special, and that is a lot of it on the offensive line. He's trying to hit home runs again, and like this is a problem that he's had a million times in his career. But when it works, it's awesome. It's just this year it feels like he's hunting a little bit more than he was a year ago, probably because he's frustrated because these avenues aren't open for him. So it's just maybe a little bit of a learning curve. I'm concerned with the Eagles, but I feel like we got into enough Philly fandom for one podcast. I think we're going to get a lot of like Cope comments.
Yes, especially because they are the reigning Super Bowl champs, and the Eagles fans like to rub it in people's faces. So let's get into a fan base that I think people still enjoy, but I don't think there's some people out there that I think are like, And let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, because every single year, Tyson, it's okay. This is going to be the Bills' year. They upgrade here, they upgrade there. Just do little tweaks here, a little nip and tuck, right? Just do a little touch up here, a little touch up there, and then yes, they're going to vanquish the Chiefs, and this is going to be the year.
The Botox Bills is what you're saying.
The Botox Bills. They have, just like the Eagles, lost 2 in a row. And they have lost it in a fashion. It's like, the biggest concern is that Josh Allen looked human.
They
and
ain't
when
beat
Josh Allen
nobody,
looks
Paul.
human, woo.
They've not beaten a team, with a winning record. And so you only play who's on your schedule, but I think that's scary. The Josh Allen thing is something. Brad, I'm at a 2 with the Buffalo Bills. I'm less concerned. I think my biggest concern here for them, one, the AFC is just softer. Like it just is. And I think that this wasn't a team that I had circled to play in the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl preseason anyways. So that factors into it. But if everybody eats, nobody eats, brother. And that's all they're talking about with this. They got a 5-headed monster, a wide receiver, and all this stuff. It's like maybe Keon Coleman is just like 75 other guys in the NFL that like might catch a touchdown pass, right? Or like maybe Khalil Shakir is a really good 3 or third option on a team if you have Stephon Diggs and if Dalton Kincaid takes the next step forward. Some of these things, and so the everybody eats thing is awesome until the end of the game comes and they just get strangled. Like there's just no Superman tries to put on the cape, and Josh Allen made some bad decisions and had an maybe not uncharacteristic turnover there at the end, but just one of those ones where it was like I could see what he's going for. It would have been sweet if he was able to pull it off, but that's what you get with Josh Allen. I'm not concerned in the Buffalo Bills could still be the 1 seed in the AFC. I think it's just like, what did you think was going to happen, man?
Well, I'm at a 4 here for the Bills, and I'll tell you why. This era is over. Like it's done.
Oh,
like dude, McDermott's it's done. Like you got to go get a new coach. Like,
what do you think of the glasses?
Well, they played soft, and you can't show up in glasses and the team played soft. Like I'll just tell you that, not a good look. Like if you're gonna show up, like you got to be a psychopath. Like the serial killer glasses. Your team's got to come out and rip somebody's head off. Because if you show up and you play like that, where you're getting pushed around and like it gave me the ick, as the kids like to say. I was like, dude, come on. Like, what are you doing here? You're a football coach, for Christ's sake. It's over, though. It's a 4. And it's not a 4 for like, like you said, the Bills get a 1 seed. I'm not falling for it. This team is not winning the Super Bowl. This era is over. We've seen it. They need a new voice. They need a new direction. They need somebody else to come in, take a look at this roster and really analyze things, or else they're going to waste Josh Allen. And that's the reality situation. So I'm keeping it short and sweet on the Bills because we've said everything
I'm saying, bro,
to say about the Bills. And for the past 5 years, for the past Josh Allen's tenure, for the past times that they've lost to the Chiefs, and I'm just saying, I'm done with it. It's over. Panic meter's 4, not because I think like, they should be so scared that they're not getting there. Like I'm saying, I'm more panicked that they're not going to make the move they need to make.
That feels normal though for this team. And last thing on the Bills, what is it about James Cook that just doesn't feel like elite? Like the numbers are crazy, but when you watch him, it's like I don't know.
Is it because do you think he's like just small looking? Is that the part? Like he's not small, but he's like kind of looks a little small out there.
It could be. I mean, I'm not sure what it is. He just like it's a different feeling when you watch. Bijan's an unfair example, right. But like that guy just played on the same Monday night, and it was like, holy smokes, this guy's in a different world. And James Cook is 600 yards. He's going to score 15 touchdowns again, and it just doesn't feel like it.
It's interesting. I even even thought about it, but you're right. But it's funny too because when he hasn't run for over 100 yards, they've lost 2 games. Now again, like you said, they played nobody in the first 4 that they won. So maybe that's a cherry pick stat. Let's close here. Baltimore Ravens. Holy smokes, man! 1-5. They got a negative 50-point differential. It's funny when Lamar Jackson's on the bench, the defense actually started playing well. Maybe that should have happened when you had the guy healthy. This operation, man, is just head-scratchingly poor right now. But what is your panic meter if we're discussing the Baltimore Ravens this season?
Glass is broken. 5. We got red alarms going off in the corners because I don't know. I don't know if it's the end of the era for the Buffalo Bills, but it sure feels like it for Harbaugh and the Ravens here. And that's something this happens in the NFL where this guy could never lose his job here. And then a season from hell comes and it's like, it's run its course. And that's how it feels in Baltimore. They could not get over the mountaintop and beat Kansas City, even though they hosted them in an AFC championship game. And then who decided to run the ball 8 times in that football game, Brad? In the game that the Ravens probably should have mopped up and instead made close. And Pat Mahomes came and shut the door as he does. But they Mark Andrews drops the ball last year against the Buffalo Bills. Another one they should have won in another year. They were supposed to go to the Super Bowl. And then you run it back and all offseason, the Baltimore Ravens have the most talented roster in the NFL. And then they get on the field, and it's like, this defense sucks. And then Lamar Jackson gets hurt. Dude, they're 1-5. Like, it is wrapped. That is it. Like, it's just the way this thing works. I know that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't feel like a 4-1 football team. But I also know that Mike Tomlin's not letting off the lead in this division with a 3-game head start, and you're 1/3 of the way through the season. Like, that's just the Steelers are going to win the AFC North, and that feels crazy to say, but I think it's true. We've been asking the same question about this football team, much like the Bills, for a long time. We thought Zay Flowers was going to be the guy to alleviate a lot of this pressure. The defenses can't put 8 in the box all the time if Zay Flowers is dominating, and whether it's Monken forgetting he plays for the football team, or Lamar Jackson not looking for him, or Zay Flowers just being injured and sometimes not impacting the football game. Rashad Bateman, a lot better for an actual football team, I think, that people give him credit for, but another guy that you pay money to that doesn't contribute to winning in a crazy way. Isaiah Likely, you're waiting for him to take this step. We've been waiting for these guys on the outside here for Baltimore to do something. You go out and you get Derrick Henry, and it's just sometimes you swing for the fences and you miss. And luckily for them, DaCosta is awesome. This front office is going to be able to right the ship, and the Ravens are going to be down long, but they have a better chance of picking in the top 6 right now than they do of making the playoffs. At a certain point, they go to 1-6. It's like, Lamar, you can't play for the rest of the year. This is not worth it.
Especially if the hamstring is as bad as I think it is. Anytime you have a strained hamstring, there's muscle fiber tears. It's just how extreme it is. If you elevate it to a torn designation or not, I think it's very interesting what you said about it's running its course with Harbaugh, and the obvious point is a team that they can't get past is Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid comes in. How many times did the Chiefs try to get over the hump? They couldn't. You finally get this guy to come in, and it works. Now, who's going to come in for the Baltimore Ravens? Who's going to take this thing over? It's going to be, if not the best job available, certainly top 2. I don't know who's getting if let's say Buffalo, who'd you rather have? Lamar Jackson, Baltimore. Probably, right? With that roster, as you're saying. The panic meter for me is a 5. Like you said, this thing is way off the rails, and we're talking about a staple of a head coach in John Harbaugh. Can you even run it back, Tyson? That's the thing. Can you sell the fact that Ravens fans who love this guy are like, it's over?
I love this guy, dude.
Me too. I'd love him to be the head coach for any team. I think he's a really good coach. It's run its course here. It's over.
John Harbaugh to Penn State.
Oh man, you want to talk about an elite recruit like Mike Tomlin did? Imagine if he went to Penn State and was their coach, dude. Number 1 recruiting class in a heartbeat. But I don't know if does Harbaugh go on TV? Does he come back? Does he do the Sean Payton thing? He's going to have opportunities. Does he go to the Bengals? My God, can you imagine if they fire Zach Taylor and that thing comes open? That would be insane. But focusing on this here, it's done. This era, like I just said with the Bills, I think it's over. I think it has to be over. You can't keep going. When you had Greg Roman and you got Lamar Jackson to the next step where you could finally compete, but you couldn't quite get over the hump, it was okay, because this is holding us back. So you go get a guy in Bobo that you think is really going to affect you and take you to the next level, and it doesn't work. And we're talking about, you said, it was a swing and miss with Derrick Henry. Tyson, I would argue that it was there. They just didn't run the football because the offensive coordinator lost his mind.
Yeah, and kind of sneaky in the whole Ravens collapse is special teams not being, a John Harbaugh special teams unit. That is an indictment in and of itself. I think that they're so well run. Same with the Bills. If it is over for Sean McVay, but they'll be back. They'll be just fine. But Baltimore's the one on this list where it's holy smokes. We talk about this in the NFL, we get one of these every year. You don't get one of these every year. This is an anomaly.
Yeah. And so where does Monken go, after this, right? Are we going to see some people let's say this, is John Harbaugh's back? Is there a replacement of Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator? Is there a replacement of the defensive coordinator? Because remember, he was supposed to be the hot shot, the guy replacing Mike McDonald, it's been a disaster. There are way more questions than answers, I think, in Baltimore, which is scary when you have a roster that everybody crowned best roster. They're going to run through it, probably going to win the Super Bowl. Like, the way they were talking about these guys for the first 2 games was ridiculous.
They're supposed to go undefeated, dude. Like, if the season ended today, this team is, where are they picking? Are they at
top 6 for sure? Like you said, they might even be top 3. Let's see here. Top 4, top 5 for sure. I'm not sure how everything works out with Dolphins and Browns and all that,
but tough. And we'll get into like the good stories at some point too, down the road. The Indianapolis Colts killing it. We were hoping Shane Steichen was going to come home and be the offense coordinator in Philadelphia in 2026. This dude's winning coach of the year. Raheem Morris has this thing rolling. Don't look now, Brad, but it just kind of feels like the Chiefs are just going to walk to the AFC Championship game again.
Yeah, we'll see how Rashee Rice looks when he comes back. That offense all of a sudden has some juice behind it, and so that's something to note. But that's a panic meter. Tyson and I, we got to tell you how it is, man. And we think Eagles not as panicked. Tyson's less panicked than the Bills. I think it's over, so I'm on a 4 there. And we're both like Ravens. This thing, break glass in case of emergency. Hide your kids. What is it? Hide your wife, hide your kids. This thing is over, man. I mean, my goodness gracious. But like Tyson said, we're going to get some different stuff out in the future, especially some positive things. Like we talked about James Franklin getting fired previously. We're talking about
when Trent Dilfer gets the job in Baltimore, we will do a 5-hour live
from his press conference.
Yeah, we'll fly in.
So like, subscribe, and share the show so you miss a single thing we do. If you haven't listened to the James Franklin one we discussed, I'm a Penn State alumnus. I gave my thoughts on that. We talked about some of the candidates. Go check that out. We'll keep kind of digging into that as that whole situation progresses. But coming up, we have the college football betting episode, the NFL betting episode. Try to make some cash flow this weekend. So subscribe so you don't miss a single thing we do. Smash the like button on the way out. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy. You guys know the drill by now. We'll talk to you guys when we talk to you. Until then, peace.